Hi guys, White Warlock here. In this video I will talk about how the Lightning Warp Stormweaver build, or Freezing Warp as I like to call it, looks like after the Cast on Crit and Cast on Freeze nerfs. Unfortunately, these nerfs force us to go back to a build focused solely on Lightning Warp and its damage. Luckily, Lightning Warp still does a reasonable amount of base damage, which we can support with a new tree. As we don't use the Cast on Crit and Cast on Freeze Spirit Gems anymore, running a Scepter is no longer necessary. Instead, running a wand plus shield setup seems to be the best, with our 100 spirit reserved for Archmage. You can still use Blink if you want to by getting 60 spirit from the body armor, which is what I'm running for now. However, I think going full energy shield on the body armor is better with CI and Eldritch Battery. In this video, I will discuss the gear, skills, and passive tree I'm currently using and what upgrades I got planned. I'm also working on a full build guide with information like what gems to get on when you get more links, best affixes on your gear and base items, and obviously the passive tree when you get to higher levels. So for now, I will first just start with the items. So I got a very basic wand. This just has spell damage, maximum mana, and crit chance. However, when I get one level higher, I have a much better wand lying around. And this one just grants plus levels to lightning spell skills, a lot of spell damage, maximum mana, and a lot of crit chance as well. And also some nice mana regen, which is always nice to have. Obviously, the build still works around the 3 dragons. The 3 dragons castles are Lightning Warp to freeze instead of shock. However, our Lightning Warp shocked ground still shocks, so we have basically no downside and full upside, which makes this build just work immensely. The reason I'm still using this instead of just going full lightning damage and getting a very high energy shield helmet is because freezing is just so good in this game. It's just very good against bosses also, but it's just basically a new defensive layer you can get on your build, and the 3 dragons just helps us really well with that. Otherwise, the 3 dragons also gives a lot of elemental resistances, which is pretty nice, especially early on when you have to go budget items. Then I finally got the amulet I wanted, so this was 65 exalts for me, so this is basically the only reason why this build is not a budget build anymore, because the rest of the items are all under 10 exalts each. But yeah, this gives a lot of maximum mana and mana regen, but more importantly, it gives maximum mana as extra mana, maximum energy shield, so it turns your mana into more energy shield. Combining this with Eldritch Battery allows you to get a lot of mana to stack your Archmage and your Arcane Surge, and while still getting quite a lot of energy shield and allowing you to go CI when you got more energy shield on your gear later. The shield is still the same as before, just as much block cleanse as you can, plus resistances. Yeah, block chance and resistance, that's all you need. Then for the body armor, this one still has spirit. As you can see, I did not get a 60 spirit body armor, so you have to use Venter's Gamble in that case. However, when you stop using Blink, which I will soon when I get a better body armor with much more energy shield, you should obviously replace the Venter's Gamble with another ring. Yeah, right now this is just as much spirit as I could get and some resistances and as much energy shield as I could get, but this one is definitely the first thing that gets replaced. The second one is the Vendor's Gamble. I wanted to have at least as low amount of resistance penalties as possible, so that when I compensated for that and I replaced the Gamble, I didn't have 100% resistances on everything. But yeah, it's basically there for the spirit and some nice resistance as well. Then our other ring, I upgraded that as well. As much mana as possible with some dexterity or strength is nice, plus resistances, that's basically all you need. Then the gloves is resistances, dexterity, and mana, and then as much energy shield as you can get. The belt is as much mana and resistances as you can get, plus some strength. This one is very cheap. You can get a much better one than this, but I had no more budget, so this one fits perfectly within the build requirements that I needed, and it grants quite a lot of maximum mana, so it's still pretty good. And then our boots, no movement speed, but as much energy shield and maximum mana as you can get, and then the resistances and intelligence for the suffixes. So yeah, this is my gear at the moment. And next level I will get a much better wand and deal even more damage. Then let's go to the skills. So yeah, for the skills I got a Lightning Warp with Concentrated Effect Overcharge, Glaciation Support, and now with Shock Siphon. So Shock Siphon allows you to recover Energy Shield when you kill a shocked enemy. Lightning Warp always shocks with the shocked ground if you don't one-shot them, right? And even then it might still count as shocked because you it still counts as shocked because you consume the ball lightning first, creating the shocked ground, and then you kill an enemy. So with the warp itself. So yeah, this just grants you a lot of recovery. In mapping, while you're not mapping, I would replace it with considered casting for now. When you get more links, you can work around a little bit. Maybe look at lightning penetration, for example. For Ball Lightning, I'm supporting it with Scattershot, Unleash, and Arcane Tempo, and then with Blind as well for our fourth link. This just always blinds enemies, which is another small defensive layer. And against bosses, I would change the Arcane Tempo for Deceleration. Then Archmage is supported by Lightning Mastery for more levels so that it gets better. And then with Clarity, you need to remove this Clarity when you stop having Energy Shield on your body armor and your ring. But for now, it's just some nice extra mana regen. The way to compensate this losing Clarity is just by getting mana regen on your ring. That's good enough. I'll skip Conductivity for now. Then we got Comet. I'm just hard casting this. Whenever I freeze a boss or a rare, I can, if I have time, like there are no other monsters around, I can just use Comet, which deals a lot of damage by supporting it by Biting Frost, Elemental Focus, and then Hourglass, because you're only using it once anyway, so that cooldown doesn't matter, and Leverage, causing it to have a lot of increased crit chance because you're always using it against a frozen enemy only. So yeah, just more crit chance there. I'm like kind of testing Mana Tempest, which is just a small damage boost, and then it grants like premeditation, it grants 50% more damage. However, staying in the Mana Tempest is really hard. Because whenever you lightning warp, you can jump out of it and then it immediately stops, obviously. So, but it's against bosses, it's just a nice extra skill you can use. And then I'm still using Blink, and I'm supporting it with Energy Barrier, but that doesn't really do anything. Like, it doesn't matter. You just want to support it with Second Wind and Ingenuity. However, the second I get a better body armor, I will not use Blink anymore. After the dodge roll buffs, Blink got kind of bugged, so Blink is much worse than it was last patch, so that also got kind of nerfed. That's kind of bad. Then before I go to this passive tree, I want to discuss the weapon swap. So as you can see, I have Conductivity and I have Sigil of Power here. So Conductivity is just a curse you can use on bosses, and if you put it on your second weapon set and the rest on one only, you can make it so that the Conductivity only works when you use the staff. So let's say I would let's put Conductivity here. Let's say I use my Ball Lightning, then I'm on my wand, and when I use Conductivity, I switch to my staff, and then can go back to my wand immediately. So for the staff, you just want a level of lightning spell skill gems and cast speed if you can, but I'm not spending any money on this. And Sigil of Power is also nice. It's just an additional buff for you as well. So if you can get that on your step, that's better than Lightning Bolt, right? And why are we using light weapon swap? Well, we are using it to gain curse effect here. And later on, when we get to CI, we can also get curse duration here, and we can, get some nice thing here. And later on, like when you get like level 85 or something, you can also get Impending Doom with your weapon set passes. The ones you can allocate with your main weapon set passes are the block chance nodes here, because you won't have a shield, and the lightning spells. It just doesn't matter as long as you don't take any defensive nodes. That's fine, and no mana nodes, obviously. All right, then I'll go over the rest of the passive tree. So we have maximum energy shield here instead of the spell damage. Then crit is the same. Here we get energy shield and mana as well. Here mana recovery rate. Here some crit, and We got mana here, and then obviously Eldritch Battery to go with our amulet. Then we get maximum energy shield here and intelligence here, then crit, and then finally we get pure power as well, which for the moment only grants some like 40% more damage, or increased damage, not more damage obviously, but this will get even higher when you get more intelligence on your gear and obviously more on the passive tree. So just for like when you allocate your attributes, just get intelligence as much as possible, unless you need them for your shield or your helmet, then it's fine, but to get as much intelligence as possible, obviously. And then you want these nodes as well here, and obviously the block chance nodes. And I've noticed that stunning is quite a problem for energy shield builds, so you really want these stun threshold nodes as well. And the next two levels I'm getting are also these stun nodes here. For the jewels, I currently have jewels that were more for cast on crit builds. So as you can see, I have like 26% crit chance. That's not necessary. I would recommend going for maximum energy shield, faster start of energy shield recharge, and then some crit chance or crit multi, so crit damage bonus. That's the best you can get on your jewels. I would recommend getting them as soon as possible. They are quite cheap if you don't care how good they are. You can just get some basic ones and then upgrade them later on when you get a higher budget. All right, so my plans for the future are getting a much better body armor and a ring. So we stop with blink, unfortunately, but we have to. Then getting the soul core 2% maximum mana on our helmet and our shield as well. And maybe getting a better wand after this one, and maybe like getting a better belt, but just getting as much mana and intelligence as possible on our gear as we can. And then for our passive tree, the next nodes will likely be energy shield here, some more stun threshold here maybe, some more energy shield here as well, and then obviously CI. That's the first thing you want to do after getting enough energy shield on your gear and getting some stun threshold as well. For annoyance, you could do this one if you're rich and you have like the silver one, because this is like 100 exalts or something. So this one is pretty nice, but currently I think I'm just gonna take this one, just more stun threshold. And when you have CI, you are always on full life, so it's just more stun threshold, and these emotions are quite cheap. The others you can go for are Heavy Frost, which says hits ignore element resistance of frozen enemies. So whenever you freeze a boss, you don't care about element resistances anymore. However, that doesn't really go well with conductivity. So if you don't like the weapon swap, or like you find yourself not using conductivity enough, then you can take Heavy Frost, for example. You can also take Thin Ice, which just increases the freeze buildup and damage against frozen enemies, which is pretty good. And you can take some other lightning damage nodes or others. And the other one you can try is Lay Siege as well, which is like if you have 59% chance to block, this is just 59 increased damage, right? So that's nice to have. Other nodes you could get are just energy shield nodes or like crit nodes like this one, Careful Assassin. Just look at what you have, how much budget you have. Don't spend the most of your budget on the Anoint. Just get your gear first, and then the Anoint can go later. You can start with a very budget Anoint. It doesn't really matter what you get. You can start with this one, well, not this one, this is silver, right? So this one is very expensive, but just get a very cheap Anoint if you can. Get some energy shield or something, and then start getting like better Anoints later on. All right, that's the video for now. I hope to like get some more extra gear, test out some more stuff, and hopefully get the Ascendancy as soon as possible. So I'll update you on that later. And for now, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support on my videos. A lot of people have been watching them. Didn't expect this, but yeah, the build has been really fun even after the nerfs. So I definitely recommend the build. All right, see you guys later. Bye.